What up, everybody? This is Mr. Composition, the MC that writes fiction, and today is Friday. And I just want to talk about how sometimes the most productive thing you can do is rest. And what does rest mean? So, my definition of rest, well, let's look at the actual definition, shall we? Alright. Rest definition. So, by definition, it is cease work or movement in order to relax, refresh oneself, or recover strength. And so, I like looking up the etymology of things. Etymology. Rest etymology. So, the origin of rest: sleep, rest, bed, intermission of labor, mental peace. Let's see, what else? League, Old Norse, of the word roast, R-O-S-T, league, distance after which one rests. Gothic, rasta, miles, stage of journey. That's interesting. Perhaps a word from the nomadic period, unless the original sense is repose, thence extended secondarily to distance between two resting places. The meaning support, thing upon which something rests. Let's see. Another one is remainder, that which is left after a separation. So the reason why I wanted to dive into that is, how do you rest? How are you able to recharge and things like that? People think of sleep. Sometimes, like during this time, I realized during full moons I seem to have issues sleeping. And I don't know if it's something more so new, or just that I've noticed that, oh, anytime that there's a full moon, you're having trouble sleeping. Now, when I say that, there's a little bit of scientific evidence around that, as far as the moon affecting your sleep. But there's an astrological aspect to it as well. So, let's see, can a full moon affect your sleep? So let's see if, okay, so here we go. From bustle.com. So it's saying 7 ways the full moon affects your sleep cycle according to astrologers. Now it says scientifically it's unclear exactly how the full moon affects sleep. Researchers by scientists at Basel University in Switzerland has found that around the full moon, people may take longer to fall asleep, sleep less, and sleep less deeply. While other research has had similar results, final conclusion among the scientific community haven't yet been made. Now, in the world of astrologers, the fact that a full moon affects your sleep is no surprise. It was saying, from a quote from Lisa Stardust, the moon controls the ocean. The gravitational pull from the moon on Earth controls the tides of the ocean, and humans are made up of 50 to 70% water, depending on age and other factors. Being that the moon controls the oceans and the waters on Earth, the human body may be affected as well by the lunar phases. Now, just thinking about that, and being that my sun sign is an Earth sign as well as my moon sign, honestly, it kind of makes sense that a moon, which controls the ocean, the gravitational pull from the moon on Earth controls the tides of the ocean, it kind of makes sense that it would affect me in particular. And my sister, who's the complete opposite, she's a Cancer, she's energized. She's like freaking Super Saiyan over here and everything like that. I'm all freaking staying up and tossing and turning in bed. So the reason why I bring all that up is because how do you rest when you know you need to get stuff done? You know, the main thing that I look at is what is a priority. You know, I know with me, the priority above, you know, a lot of other things other than like health and stuff like that, my priority is to make sure that I'm getting a podcast out a day. You know, podcast out a day as far as the build up consistency. You know, I'm doing things as far as for my business. So just if y'all are not fully aware, because sometimes I can not be as out there with what it is that I do as I should be, especially to get clients. I do a lot of behind the scenes stuff. So, you know, it is a lot of different clients that I have or that I have had, and it's just been like really under the radar. But my original, as far as business company, is Dabtro Creations. And Dabtro Creations is a multimedia site. So I provide multimedia services for creators, entrepreneurs, and businesses in the form of audio, video, or photo. And I also do content creation as far as that. So Dabtro Creations is basically the hub of all of my interests in, you know, in one entity, so to speak. You know, so a part of that's going to be, or a part of that is multimedia. So that's like a large percentage of that. What I have my LLC under is DTC Time Machine, which is short for Dabtro Creations Time Machine. And within that, I have the multimedia aspect with Dabtro Creations. I have event throwing, as far as within the events that I throw. And then I also have, as far as my wellness practice, which is with CBD and tarot and guidance reading and consultation. And so that is like the business aspect of things. So within that requires, you know, several things. Working in call centers, working retail, being management of retail. I'm fully aware of like the things that need to go on. But prior to doing all of that, you know, I'm a musician, I'm a rapper, I'm a creator. And so what I'm finding is that even within that, see, some people, when you're dealing with money, you're literally dealing with business. So if you're a creator, whether it be a rapper, whether it be a singer, whether it be an artist who paints, whether you be a poet, if a part of what it is that you're doing, or even the fact of selling something, you could be like, I'm just in it, you know, because I love doing it and everything like that. That is perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine. But if you're selling, that is business. And you would need to make space to do the business of it. Now, that doesn't mean that you're tainting your art. They are two separate things, you know. And so to be a successful artist in the sense of financial success, you know, you have to get into the business of things. You can be the best painter in the freaking world. You can be the best poet in the world. But if you do not do the business side of things, which is marketing, which is, you know, the making sure all the back end stuff is taken care of, you know, all of those different things, that is the business side of things. And again, that does not take away from you creating art. It doesn't mean that, oh, you're just doing it for money. No. But if you want to make a living off of your passion, you're going to have to get into the business side of things. Now, when we get into the 80/20 rule, think about this. Think about the fact that if you're looking at the 80/20 rule, you get to do 80% art passion, but it does require that 20% of work, you know? And so within all of that, when you're doing your passion and different things like that, that still requires energy. So that still requires rest. You know, the energy that you put in, you're gonna have to recoup that, even if you love doing it. You know, and that doesn't mean that you leave your passion, you know, for the day to do business stuff and vice versa. Some people, or this is just my personal opinion, some people would think that, oh, because I'm doing my passion, that's recouping me, that's recovering me. But the thing is, think about this within a 24-hour day. If you're doing work part of the time and you're doing passion part of the time, each one of those things are two separate things, so you're going to need to have different types of rest, or two, like, you're gonna rest from one and you're gonna rest from the other. So if you're looking at this in the sense of like charging up your battery or something like that, you know, the passion's gonna be a battery, the business is gonna be a battery. When you use up the business battery and it's depleted, yes, you do have your passion battery, but they both still need to be recouped, you know? So it's, you know, it's one of those things that I think about even within myself on how it is that I'm truly finding rest. And ironically, with all this unrest that's going on, you know, it sometimes you can think that you can kind of feel guilty for finding that peace, you know, and you shouldn't. You shouldn't feel guilty, because how can you effectively be able to help with solutions? How can you effectively be able to even be in the conversation if you're drained, if you're not, you know, at 100? You know, there's this misconception that you gotta hustle, work till the wheels fall off. And me being a Capricorn, trust me, I can by default, like, I just, you know, but that isn't sustainable for long periods of time, and that's what I'm learning within myself. You know, even a person who can do all that stuff, you know, they still need to recoup, you know, let alone a person who, you know, is very specific as far as their energy and learning more about it. So, you know, I just wanted to touch on a little bit of that for this podcast. So how do you rest? Let me know if you're listening to this on YouTube or IGTV. Leave a comment. If you're listening to this on podcast, follow me on one of these platforms and let me know, you know, how do you rest? And if you don't rest, what are some of the issues that you're finding with trying to rest? Again, this is Mr. Composition that writes fiction. Make sure to check the description. There's plenty of ways to support if you like what it is that I'm doing. And follow me on Instagram at Graffiti the Mind Son, SON. And yeah, y'all have a good Friday and weekend. Peace.